Hey guys, this is Irie Starcraft, and I'm back to cast another 2v2 match for you tonight. And this game is going to be on Monolith Ridge, and it will be between Antimatter, the red Protoss, and his teammate will be USUCKJERRY, the blue Terran. Their opponents will be Mihronoh, the purple Zerg, and Mihronoh's teammate will be BlackCitadel, the teal Terran. So these players are all high-level diamond players, not in the top 100. Recently, I just took a look to see if any of them were way up there, but they are not. I have not seen any of these other players except for Antimatter yet, but I am expecting a very exciting match for you nonetheless. And so as we get underway here, Mihronoh doing his harassment of the SCV, trying to build a supply depot, always so annoying. And that SCV is actually going to go down for USUCKJERRY. So a little bit late on the help from that other SCV, and now needing to. God, that is so annoying. Anyway, so I live in Southern California, and it has been pouring rain for like 3 or 4 days non-stop, and I cannot remember the last time that it rained this much for this long. And I usually love the rain, but this is getting a little bit out of hand. And so anyway, Mihronoh, after successfully killing, you see the kill on this drone, after successfully taking out an SCV, is now running for his life from Antimatter's probe, Antimatter getting his scout at the same time. And look at Mihronoh uses the low hit points drone to throw down the extractor so it will not be killed and chased, and now he is the one trying to chase the probe out as his spawning pool is nearing completion. That reminds me, you guys, is that I haven't been focusing much on people's build orders, especially in the early game. I mean, I don't know the way a build order works for me, and I'm still a noob, though I think I've gotten a lot better lately. The way a build order works for me is sort of like an early game, like in StarCraft time, like the first 6 or 7 minutes of the game is where I'm applying some sort of semblance of a build order, and I'll do my best to try and stay to it. But after that, it's sort of just a read and react type of situation as far as building and trying to just stay at that ideal level of income and producing structures. So it's hard for me to focus on builders, especially in these team games, because there's so many players that I could jump from one player to the next. It might get out of hand. It's really hard to keep track of everybody's builders as compared to like a 1v1. As you see BlackCitadel getting his second gas down, he does have 2 barracks and that tech lab. He's been making a marine here. Now we're going to see a marauder come out, so making that marauder switch. So this is me trying to pay attention to, this is my version of build orders. It's just looking at what's going on here at the beginning, because there are 4 barracks for USUCKJERRY, so 5 barracks, make it 5 barracks. So we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of marines as he is rallying them down here. Interesting why he'd be doing that, possibly worried about an overlord getting a scout down there. He doesn't want his opponents to know about his mass marines, because let me tell you, banelings, they really rock the mass marines. In some recent games that I've been doing, I've been on both sides of a massive baneling genocide involved with banelings and marines, and once where I got my ass kicked by them, and I think actually ended up winning that game somehow by a miracle. And I did save that one, so I will probably cast that one at some point in the future once I forget which game that was and what happened in it. So it'll be super exciting for you guys, as now looks like we are finally going to start to see some aggression here. Or no, BlackCitadel had faked me out. Oh, there'll be some aggression here because the speed just finished for Monlyth, and he has 1,000,000 Zerglings right now. A ton of Zerglings at this stage in the game. At 6 minutes in, he has, what is that, like seriously 30 Zerglings. And there is a lot of Marines here though for USUCKJERRY, and with no banelings, that's going to be trouble. This Zergling is going to come down to position here. Can these Zerglings block off the Marines from escape? The Zerglings actually are going to opt to run right into the base of USUCKJERRY, and they're going to force these SCVs out. Possibly could have thought about trying to surround those Marines there with the Zerglings to kill the army, but now actually going to be forcing these SCVs off the line, and now a lot of Zerglings are getting taken out while they're running back and forth, so that could make a big difference here, though. BlackCitadel is in the base as well, doing a lot of damage to the front of USUCKJERRY's base here, but the Zealots from Antimatter warding those back, and the Marines just slowly whittling down these Zerglings. So if you really look, I mean, and here's a force field from Antimatter right there to keep the reinforcements out of the base for just a little bit longer. USUCKJERRY's Marines need to be shooting back right now, because this supply depot is going to fall. But the problem is that Monlyth lost, or Mihronoh, he lost so many Zerglings, because instead of trying to kill this ball of Marines, which I think in retrospect he probably should have tried to kill that ball of Marines, instead he ran right into the mineral line, and USUCKJERRY just pulled his SCVs off and spread his Marines out a little bit, and the Marines were just firing away at the Zerglings that were running back and forth. So it's going to come down to positioning again here, because Mihronoh is just retreating slowly and slowly with these Zerglings. He has no Banelings. The Baneling nest is on the way, but it's going to be a little bit too late to deal with this attack. So what is he going to do here? There's a lot of Marines, too many Marines now for these Zerglings to handle, shooting and scooting back there nicely. BlackCitadel trying to lend some support now in the back, and the Zerglings are going to get us around here, and with BlackCitadel's support, those Marines are going to fall. And now that with the Baneling's nest being done, Mihronoh, we should be seeing some Banelings morphing in, excuse me, to deal with this giant mass of Marines that USUCKJERRY has been able to produce here. So, pretty intense right there. I take a breath, but looks like both teams in a fairly even exchange. I have been harping on the fact that those Zerglings maybe went down a little unnecessarily. They were at a pretty critical mass at that stage in the game, and if they had gone with an all-in attack and tried to take on the army of USUCKJERRY instead of trying to get into the mineral line, it may have been a better play at that point. But Antimatter now does have a Colossus out, and he's getting some more Zealots, so we see that him just now starting that extended thermal lance research, and everybody's throwing their expansions down now. We have Mihronoh getting his expansion, USUCKJERRY upgrading to an orbital command right here, and looks like yeah, the command center for BlackCitadel is finishing up shortly, but Antimatter just now looks like he is just now starting to save up for that expansion, opting instead, probably wisely there, to get his extended thermal lance research completed, because Colossi are so strong against this mass of Marines and Marauders for BlackCitadel, and pretty much any Zerg ground unit aside from like Ultralists. The Colossi really are strong against. But what can make those Colossi that much more effective is a few force fields in that army. Because any unit that is not a large unit, so if there are no Thors and Ultralists on the field, those force fields will make a huge difference. And I have been the beneficiary in a few games lately of using those force fields even on Marines and Marauders. Though they are fast with the stim, if you're fast with the force fields, you can trap and split that army so easily, and then the Colossi can just fry them. So we'll see if he does opt to get any sentries out, or if he just makes me look silly, as there are 3 bunkers out in the front for USUCKJERRY. So it looks like we're going to see a bit of a defensive matchup for a while here, which will give me time to blabber on and on about random stuff such as this map, Monlyth Ridge, which I know I've talked about before, but you've seen the action of this is a good rushing map because the distance is so short between the bases. Even though they are, and the bases aren't too shared, they're kind of shared here. You know what I'm talking about. There's ramps that come down at the middle. As you can see, both Terran players have thrown down static defense bunkers in the front to try and create a sort of wall here. This a bit of a wider, as USUCKJERRY and Antimatter actually have their forces out a little bit farther than their opponents. But neither team it'd be wise for neither team to attack the front. Although with the Colossus advantage now for Antimatter, if they were to press, it could get pretty interesting. The Banelings are out now for Mihronoh. Not a whole lot. He's got 8 Banelings. Antimatter wondering When is his teammate going to be ready? Because with the Colossus, the one of the best times to attack when you're Protoss is right when you get those early Colossus, when you get your first one, or right when you get your second one. Can be a really good time to attack, because he has added a couple of sentries to that army, so we'll see if he makes use of force fields or just opts to go with the Guardian Shield to absorb or to lessen some of the damage from these Marines on his ball of units. So BlackCitadel, though, a lot of his units are weakened from using